Okie doke, how you doing out there? So impromptu video on Friday and the meaning mystery around Venus, Friday, Friars Day, which is Venus. So things about Venus is that one, she has two phases. She has the whether she's the morning star and the evening star, and she cycles between this being Luciferian morning up before the sun. She's rivaling the sun in her brightness and her beauty. So this is the more kind of lusty, sexual, non-conforming, non-traditional Venusian quality. So if Venus is coming up before the sun in your chart when you're born, you've got a Luciferian natal Venus. And all this talk about Lucifer and the angel, it's a bit of a crock. Because really it's just a phase of Venus, which everyone has in a Venusian part of themselves, developed or undeveloped, and so one of those. It's a whole other video, but we'll go into that later. About the insanity of Christianity. Might do that on Sunday when we talk about the sun and what that means, what the sun is. But yeah, so Venus, I'll just get back to the point because just trying to be concise to get this done. Venus is part of the triple goddess. All traditions, Celtic traditions, they talk about there was a triple goddess, a goddess that had three faces or three parts of a being. Now, in my studies, I've come to understand that the triple goddess is the three stages of life as a woman, or the three stages of planetary life as a woman. So initially we have Venus, which is the first phase of being a woman. So obviously when a child is young, hasn't really developed or gone through adolescence and developed physically completely, they're somewhat mercurial, more of a mercurial sort of androgynous character. So and originally the cells of the spirit is androgynous, but when it takes form, it incarnates, it splits, it goes down one of the male lines or the female lines, depending on, I don't know how it works. I think it could be a karmic conditioning that causes there's certain lessons that soul needs to learn, or patterns that they've probably developed, comfortability, but the soul incarnates as a male or female, and then it goes down. Its lessons then are around masculine, feminine lessons. So you go down the masculine line, you go down the solar line, the sun, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Pluto. Or you go down the feminine line where you go Venus, Gaia, the moon. And so these are the three phases of Venus then, and the first phase is Venus, the young feminine, the opposite of Mars, the sexual attractive. Her role, her archetypal role in that case is to attract her partner, her pole partner, in the action of the cardinal cross. The Libra Taurus dynamic is Venus's rulership. So she rules and is partners both with Scorpio and Pluto in Taurus, and Aries and Mars in Libra. So she has these two poles. Depending on what you've got in your chart, will indicate where to sort of that manifests in yourself. But So this is the young female in Venus. Attractive. It's a sexual, attractive force that's role is to attract the energies of its opposite for the unification of those two poles, which creates then a third being through the copulation, the sexual interaction causes, in Venus's case, to become impregnated by Mars with the sun, with the seed of the sun. She literally, the sun gives birth to the sun, Venus, and then she becomes a mum. She becomes a mother. She becomes Gaia. She enters the mystery of motherhood, of the mysteries of Gaia, who is the planet Earth, the Earth Mother, the mysteries of, and there's probably constellations that relate to that are not off the ecliptic. So, for example, the Bear constellation, the Big Bear and the Little Bear. I think these quite a lot have to do with motherhood and the mother bear and that role. But there's definitely a human side which archetypically is Gaia, or the mother, and that's the second phase of the female initiation, planetary initiations, as the life of the spirit takes through form through this initiation school on the planet. And so when that's done, I'll just quickly go into that and say, when that's done, Gaia's rays, the sun turns into Mars, turns into Jupiter at 12, 24, turns into Saturn at 30. The sun's raised up, and then it becomes the old sun, Saturn, and then he can go through, Chiron becoming the elder at 52, and, getting connected to Uranian energy, to Neptunian energy, to Plutonian energy. That's another separate sort of male initiation, which we'll go into later. But for now, let's focus on the female Venusian side. So yeah, Gaia, Venus, Gaia, and then she raises the sun, and she becomes the moon. Then she becomes the crone, the old, the mature, wise feminine, where she can enter. Hopefully, if she's had a good supportive partnership and she's got a good relationship to Saturn, or she's got something well placed to support in a chart, that she's got a good relationship to her partner, which is Saturn, the moon, and Saturn, Cancer, and Capricorn. So there's got to be a strong connection to the cardinal cross and that support from Saturn, the old sun, which will give the ability of the moon, the final stage of the mother, to enter the mysteries, to enter the, she's no longer needing to be sexually interactive, sexually active, or even that much interacting with society, hopefully, ideally, and she's supported now by the sun, by her sons, by Saturn, her partner, to go into the mystery. And this is what I guess why witches were so revered and burnt, opposed and burnt in a dark religionistic, Artanistic Saturnian cult, where they didn't allow woman to be and give her respect as a matriarch, as a woman, as someone who's done her work, her sacred work in the world, and now should be able to be entered the mysteries, to be left to be alone, to given space to develop herself in an understanding of the mysteries of life and death. And this is the mystery of the moon. Now I'm getting off track here, and so I'm going to have to do that video another time, but because I'm going to go back to Venus now, because it's this day, Friday, in Venus. So depending on where your natal Venus is, I guess is probably what's important to look at for this. So whether it's you've got a morning Venus or an evening star Venus, so it's a more traditional type of Venus, which is traditional, traditional ways of relating, traditional, more Libran. I think the evening star is the Libra side of more traditional ways of having relationship and sexuality. And the Luciferian Venus is probably more the Taurus, Libra, Taurian territory, which, opposing Pluto, is more this very, sexual and lusty type of Venusian energy. But so depending on where that is, so let's say you've got Venus in the first house under Leo. A good way to think about or look at in your natal chart and honoring that, well, on Friday especially, is a good way to do is just think about, I guess, the way that connecting with your feminine. I mean, Friday, so ideally would be connecting consciously with integrating and being guided today by the energies of Venus. And so you look at your natal chart and go, okay, I've got Venus in the first house and the Leo. So it means that, my feminine is needs to be expressive. That love principle, the sex principle, the attractive, beautifying, artistic harmony, sexually aspected, part of self has to be focused on, to be expressed, wants to be, to bring that out, fiery, to express that sort of energy. But Cancer in the first house, so it's the first house, so it's the Aries house, so it's kind of like, it wants to be assertive, it wants to, to express that, it wants to put that out, it wants to get that with action, it wants to move that forward, from the head, from Aries. This bit here, it wants to, push that out into the world. So that's sort of what that would be. It's this sort of intense one. I mean, it's Aries house, boom, it's warrior. It's very strong. So it's a cardinal house. So it's the Aries house. But under Leo, it's sort of like, it's like a creative warrior, That's kind of, it's a creative warrior. So I think just be forceful, be assertive with creativity. Probably the best succinct way I could think of to look at that. And that's the thing. So with all the planets in the charts, you have there's a little like saying that come to you. If you just analyze and look at it and let the information tick over about what the placements mean, they'll become a little succinct saying that'll give you an insight and a best little nugget of way to think about that energy. So there we go. Venus first house. Leo is creative warrior, assertive, self-assertive, creative warrior. So anyway, if you want to get me to do that for you, I can with all your planets in your chart. There's another thing I do where I go over the degrees. So all the degrees relate to the tarot. So you've got North Node in 17 degrees Pisces. So 17 is the number of the star in the tarot. So you would look at that mystery and look at moving yourself towards that sphere, that initiation, that universal process that's described in the tarot. So if you wanna look more into this, subscribe and send me an email. My email should be down there, or it's on my profile, which is up there. And send me a email, and I can do your chart and get you some insight into yourself. Not no one else, no religion, no one else. You're not looking outside of you. It's about you being you, but you got to know you first, and this is what astrology is. So it'd be great, if you want to learn, I can help you learn, and knowledge of yourself, and you can't be tricked. You can't be fooled by all this lies. It's pretty ubiquitous, wall to wall, lies. So send me an email and I'll get you started. Alrighty. Hope that helped. Friday, Venus Day. Focus on Venus today. Friday, okay? It's Venus Day, so focus on Venusian self today. Send me an email. I'll do your chart. Let's get this happening. Peace and love. Bye-bye.